Incredible Commonwealth with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. I'd like to begin by asking a question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? Now, after living through this nightmare of inflation, invasion, and humiliation, you know what the invasion is, right? Invasion by the southern border. What they've done to our country is unbelievable, allowing more than 21 million people into our country. Many of them are murderers. Many of them are drug dealers, and they're from mental institutions. He says, send them back. You're right. Do you come from Latrobe by any chance? Yeah, he does. But Americans are ready to be free from Kamala Harris. Do you know that whenever I use the word Harris, everybody says, who's Harris? They have no idea who Harris is. That's true. They have no idea who's Harris. But Kamala, and to reclaim the future that is rightfully yours, you're going to reclaim it. This election is a choice between whether we will have a incredible 4 more years of failure. It's such a horrible 4 years. We had a horrible, think of everything they touch turns to everything. Inflation, Afghanistan. How about Afghanistan? Most embarrassing moment in the history of everything they've touched. Even now he's telling Israel, everything he said to Israel was exactly the opposite. He's the greatest, I will say this about Biden, he's the single greatest expert on foreign policy in history. You know what that means? If you did the exact opposite of what he suggested every single time, you'd go down as the greatest foreign policy president in history. If you did the exact opposite. Everything's a failure. And he's telling Bibi Netanyahu, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. All our great congressmen are there. And don't do any of these things. And Bibi didn't listen to him, and I tell you what, they're in a much stronger position now than they were 3 months ago, that's for sure. Nobody's ever seen anything like has happened. And Bibi called me today, and he said, it's incredible what's happened. They said, it's pretty incredible. But he wouldn't listen to Biden, because if he did, they wouldn't be in this position. And she's worse than him. She's not as smart as him. And I'm not saying he's the smartest. I'm not saying he's the smartest, but she's not as smart as him. And I think maybe, you know, based on early results, maybe he'd be doing better than her. You know, we have results coming out where we actually now don't have to rely on the polls. We're doing good in the polls, but we don't have to rely on the polls. Remember, they stole the election from an American president. They stole it. I could say coup. I don't even want to call it. They just stole the election. They said, we're taking the election away. He got 14 million votes, and he won. 22 people running, 22 Democrats there running. Oh, I'm looking at my hair up there. Let's see. Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. Excuse me, I'm going to recomb my hair. Do you mind? I'll leave the stage for 5 minutes. I'm going to recomb my hair, Mr. Future Senator. We have David down here. Mr. Future Senator, you got to get him in. You're doing good, too. Well, let's keep it the way it is. Let's just keep going, right? We'll trudge through it. But this election is a choice between whether we will have 4 more years of failure and disaster, and that's what it's been. It's been failure. We're disrespected all over the world. They're laughed at all over the world. They're laughing at him and they're laughing at her. The other night they had Catholic Charities. They had the biggest event, the Al Smith dinner. It's the biggest event of the year for Catholics. And she's the only one in years, decades, that didn't show up. She didn't show up. She wouldn't be there. She wouldn't be there. She said no. And she ended up doing a tape that was pathetic. And it was an insult to Catholics, frankly, because she was actually sort of knocking them or knocking religion. Then she had the other event the other day where she said, you're in the wrong location, when they started talking about a certain subject, right? They're in the, which basically was a knock on Christianity and a knock on religion, because she doesn't know what the hell she's saying. But there had been a failure, it's been a disaster, or you're going to have 4 years, and they will be the 4 greatest years in the history of our country if we make the proper decision. You got to make that decision. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. But you know, by the way, if you're Catholic, you can't vote after that. And you can't vote for another reason. That administration has been persecuting Catholics. It's been persecuting Catholics. I don't know why. Persecuting a lot of people. Persecuting politicians. I raised my hand, but we're kicking their ass. They are bad. They are bad. They are bad. Guys going to jail. They've never done this. This has never happened. It happens in third world countries and banana republics. They go after, it's called weaponization. They weaponize their justice departments. I call it the Department of Injustice. Ours is the Department of Injustice. But we're doing well. We won the big case in Florida. You saw that? That was the big one. That was the big one. That was the big one. They're going to get him on that one. Oh, they're going to get him. We had a judge who was brilliant and fair and very smart. She ruled against them, very strongly against them. These are people these are dishonest people that we're dealing with. But we won that, and we have other ones. We have them on the ropes. Remember, they were going to have me in all sorts of trouble. I'm going to be in trouble. And in the meantime, it's just weaponization of government. It made me more popular. It actually made me more popular, I think. It's crazy. Because people can see, and they're smart, and we could sometime explain it, but one after another. You had Fani, F-A-N-I, which is usually pronounced Fanny. She added a little action to it, Fani. That was a scam. They're all scams. They're all scams. It's a corrupt system, and it's a corrupt Justice Department, and it's a corrupt DA, corrupt attorney generals. They use it to get elected because you can't get elected with open borders, with transgender operations all over the place, with men playing in women's sports, with high taxes and bad schools, and no school choice. You can't get elected with all. I could go on for 10 minutes. Your vote will decide whether we give up on America or whether we save America. It's the most important election you're ever going to have. It really is. By the way, how nice is this place? Isn't it beautiful? Look, people, as far as you can see, they give you a little extra security nowadays. Do you notice? Hey, I got more machine guns than I've ever seen in my life. Look at these guys. Hey, hey, hey. I got more machine guns. I never saw guns like that. I said to my son, Don, he knows a lot about guns. And Eric knows they're great shots. They really understand. I said, what kind of a gun is that? They said, Dad, you don't even want to know. They are serious guns. We got more guys, and every one of them is like central casting, too. Holy shit. I'm looking. They look like Arnold Palmer. They look like Arnold. Can't look better than Arnold. But with your support, we'll bring back our nation's strength, dominance, prosperity, and pride. We're going to do it. This will be America's new golden age. 100 years from now, the presidential election of 2024 will be looked upon as America's greatest victory. I hope that's true. because we've been through so much together, and the finish line is finally in sight. After 4 horrendous years, Kamala Harris can't say one thing that she'd do differently, right? You heard that. If you vote for me, I will end inflation. I will bring jobs back to our country. We'll flood our shores with companies and jobs. We'll seal our borders immediately, and we'll let people in. You know, we had the safest border in the history of our country. Hold it. Put up my favorite sign of all time. Put up my favorite graph. I have to use it. My favorite graph. So the red arrow on the bottom, that's the lowest number of illegal immigrants to come into this country. And by the way, we want people to come into the country, but they have to come in legally, just so we understand, right? She's going, yeah. We want it. We need them. We're going to need them because we're going to have so many companies come in just through adjustments in tariffs and taxes. They're going to come pouring into our country. And they're going to stay here because we're going to protect them with tariffs. The word tariff is the most beautiful word in the dictionary. More beautiful than love. More beautiful than respect. No, less beautiful than religion, though, right? I don't want to get into that argument. But the word tariff is the most beautiful word in the dictionary. Remember that. It's going to make our country rich. And our politicians were too stupid for so many years, or something else was going on. He goes crooked. That could be, because it's so simple to understand. But look at that. So that was the day I left office, that lower red arrow. That's the lowest point. And look what happened to our country after that. Look at that. And that was done by Border Patrol, which we love. Oh, by the way, Border Patrol gave us their total and complete endorsement. And it's hard. You know, they're not actually supposed to do it. They said, well, let them take all 29,000 of us and let's see what happens to this country. No, they're not, in theory. You know, you work for the government. They couldn't help. And they said she's horrible. They said she's horrible. It wasn't just, they said, you're the greatest president in the history of our country. Some only said the greatest in our lifetime. They had a unanimous endorsement from everybody. And they said at the same time, she's the worst we've ever had by far. And now she's running. And I tell you, I think that the border, I was just saying to Byron Donald's in the plane, right, Byron? I was just stand up, Byron. What a great guy. Look at that black hat. So, you know what? You know who the founder of that hat is? Elon Musk. He wore it. He's like the founder. And I said, you know, we sell that. I think we sell about 2 a year. Now it's the hottest hat we have. And, you know, Elon came up. Elon Musk gave us his total endorsement. How good is that, right? I mean, he's the one, he landed that rocket. That rocket came in. I said, that sucker's not going to make it. I was actually on the phone talking to somebody. It was crazy. And I'm talking to this person. And I'm saying, wait a minute, something's happening. I got to just hold it. I put the phone, and it was a very important person. I'm looking at something on the screen. I'm seeing this 24-story tube come down, and it looked like it was getting, Congressman, it looked like it was getting a little bit close to the gantry or whatever the hell they call that nowadays. I said, oh, my God. And I put the phone down. Very important person, by the way. I won't tell you who. It'll be embarrassing, because I never picked up the phone again. I was sitting there for... And because I was the president, and because I'm leading, which is probably more important to him, the guy didn't hang up. He was on the phone 45, 50 minutes waiting. I just saw, oh, the phone's off the hook. Hello? Hello? He went, but I saw this thing come down, this tube, this giant tube, and I put the phone, I said, just a second. I said, I don't believe it, because I had the sound off. I turned the sound up, and it came down, and I said, it's going to crash. Don't crash. Now, I thought it was, actually, at first, I thought it was like a movie or something. I never saw this before, and I've seen a lot. and it came down, and it was going into and then all of a sudden you see the fire pouring out of the left side. It pushed it over. It landed perfectly, and then it was grabbed by two giant claws, and they grabbed it like Willie Mays would catch a fly ball in center field, right? That's the way it was. He was pretty good, Willie. And it came down, and I called Elon. I said, Elon, is that you? He said, that was me. I said, can anyone else do that? No. Can the United States do it? No. Can Russia do it? China do it? No, nobody can do that. He said, they're 10 years behind. This guy is great. And he said, if Donald Trump doesn't win, it could be the end of democracy in our country. It could be the end of our country. And you know where he is today? He's in another part of the Commonwealth. Never, ever make the mistake of calling it a state, by the way. It could be career-ending. I had a friend that did that, a politician. He used to be a politician, but it shouldn't be that big a deal because a lot of people make that mistake. That's one I could understand somebody making, but we call it the Commonwealth. But Elon endorsed me. He's in another part of the Commonwealth, and he's campaigning now. And he's got a gold. He's got a gold cap. But he called it, I said, he was wearing the black hat in Butler, Pennsylvania. We had 101,000 people, Butler, honoring Corey, the firefighter. Butler, Pennsylvania, we had 101,000 people. It was unbelievable. What a night that was. And we were honoring Corey and two gentlemen who were very badly hurt. We thought they weren't going to make it, the doctors up there. They have good doctors. These are good doctors. I don't know if they call them country doctors, but whoever they are, they were good because these were two men that were not two great supporters who were not supposed to make it, and they made it, and they made it. They'll be okay. But Corey didn't make it, and we honored Corey. It was the most beautiful evening, right? We had a moment of silence, and then we had the bells of Notre Dame, right? Notre Dame playing. And then we had an opera singer who sounded just like Pavarotti. I mean, the guy was unbelievable, and he sang Ave Maria. And the whole place was crying. It was crazy. I'm looking at the audience. Some of my friends were there, almost as tough as the football players that we have. We have some of the great football players. Almost as tough. I don't know if you guys are, but they were tough cookies. And I see them crying. They're trying to be cool. You know, no, I wasn't crying. But the whole place was crying. It was amazing. It was 101,000 people. So we will regain our sovereignty, we will restore our safety, and we will unlock the magnificent destiny that is just within our reach. And I am asking you to be excited about the future of our country. Again, you're going to be excited. This is going to be the most exciting period ever. Every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands. It really is. I mean, if you put these lunatics in charge any longer, we can't take it any longer. They're laughed at by foreign leaders. They think they can't even believe it. They can't even believe it. Biden can't find his way off a platform. She's worse. I wonder if she's going to have any trouble. No, she should be probably okay in that regard. But she's worse up here. Pennsylvania, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala Harris, who shouldn't be there, she's a threat to democracy. The way they took over, they call me a threat to democracy, right? She's a threat to democracy because she shouldn't even be the candidate. They should have picked a candidate fairly, not just given her because they want to be politically correct. I mean, whether you like him or not, you know, we had the debate. And his numbers went down. He didn't have a good night. But that can happen. But, you know, that happens. And the numbers go down, and they went down. And they went into him. They said, we're not going to let you run. We're going to take it away. That's crazy. Nancy went in. Chuck Schumer went in. Some of the people went in. They took it away from him. They just took it away from him. It's bad. And that is a threat to democracy, if you think about it, right? That's a real threat to democracy. But you have to tell Kamala Harris. And by the way, I think he would have, let's see what happens. And I may be wrong, but let's see what happens. I think he might have done better than she's going to do, because all we had to do is expose her as a lunatic left, further left than Pocahontas. Do you know who Pocahontas? Elizabeth Warren. She's further left than Pocahontas. And I don't want to get into that stuff, but her mother said she was Indian because she had high cheekbones. That's what she said. And then she went out and did a test because I was driving her crazy calling her Pocahontas. So she fell for the trap. And she did a test, and she was so happy because it came back 1,014th. Remember? 1,014th. And that was it. That means I had more Indian blood in me than she had, and I have none. I have none. I'd like to have some. I would like to have some, I'd be honored. But I have more, and I have none. But she was so happy when she got, think of that. Think of that. That was what happened. That was the end of her career. You know, that was the end of her presidential run. She was leading for the president. And when she said, and you got to understand, just these are the people we're dealing with. She took that Indian heritage, and based on the fact, and this is her statement. This is not me. There's no racist anything in me, not a drop. But this is not me. Her mother told her this, that she had high cheekbones, and therefore she was part Indian. And based on that, she applied to colleges. She applied for jobs. She applied for the US Senate. And everyone's forgotten that crap right now, but I never forget it. But she went out, and she had the test, and the test was ridiculous at basically. And then I said that I have more than she does. And I would love to, I will tell you. But she's bad news. But she's radical left crazy. She drives people. What she does to business people is horrible. She's a horrible person. But she's radical left. And Crazy Bernie is radical left. And this one, Kamala, is further left than them. So you have to tell Kamala Harris that you've had enough, that you just can't take it anymore. We can't stand you. You're a shit vice president. The worst. You're the worst vice president. Kamala, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. You're fired. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here, Kamala. There you go. Early voting in Pennsylvania is now underway. Go and vote. Just go and vote. Get out there, and if you've not registered to vote, you only have 2 days left. You have to get out there and register immediately. Does everybody promise they're going to register? Okay. Boy, look at the crowd. Wow. Wow. Hello, everybody. How did the flyover look? Good? Cool. You know, it feels like you're very close to the ground. I said, are we okay here? You know, when you're, it looks like okay from here, but let me tell you, when you're in that plane, that sucker feels low. I'm saying, I hope everything's working nicely on that plane. With your help, 17 days from now, we are going to win Pennsylvania. We're going to defeat Kamala Harris, and we are going to make America great again, right? And I'm in big trouble tonight. You know why? Franklin Graham wrote me. You heard this. Like 2 months ago, he said, President, we love your stories. We love your speaking. We love everything about you. You're a great Christian. We love everything about you. But, sir, please, please don't use any bad language, bad words. He said, your stories will even be better. And I wrote it back. I said, I'm going to try and do that. But actually, the stories won't be as good because you can't put the same emphasis on. So tonight I broke my rule. I've done it for weeks, but tonight I just said, look, I'm in Pennsylvania. What the hell? What the hell? I went to school here. I went to school. I went to the great Wharton School of Finance here. What a great school that was, too. What a great school. So if we win Pennsylvania, we win the whole damn thing, right? And starting on day one of my new administration, I will end Kamala Harris's war on Pennsylvania energy, because you know she's going to ban, fracking, right? 100%. You know, she was against fracking, against all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, about a year and a half ago, when she was getting killed in the polls, she said, I like fracking very much. Look, they always go back to what they want. They always go back. She can't help it. She's a radical left Marxist. She can't help it. But we're going to end that, and we will frack, 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 and drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to be drilling so deep. We're going to be, for these guys, we're going to drill. We're going to take out so much money. We're going to pay down our debt. We're going to lower your taxes. You know, I gave you the largest tax cut in the history of our country, and the biggest regulation cuts in the history of our country. And we had the best economy in the history of our country. And we had the best border in the history of our country. Other than that, what the hell? I did other things, too. I rebuilt the military, and unfortunately, they gave a lot of it away to the Taliban, these geniuses, these stupid people like Milley, General Milley. Remember his performance in Congress? General Milley and Mattis, all these guys, what a bunch of lightweights. But we have great generals, but they're the ones you don't see on television. They're the ones that actually have to fight. Like, we defeated 100% of the ISIS caliphate with great generals and we have a great military, but not the ones you see on television. Not the movie actors that you see. Kamala has said repeatedly she wants to ban fracking, which would kill over 500,000 jobs in Pennsylvania alone. Watch this.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
I am committed to passing a Green New Deal and finally putting an end to fracking once and for all.
If they fail to act as President of the United States, I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal. I am offering a Green New Deal that has been described as one of the most aggressive and progressive.
Well, he's going to bring the Green New Deal up for a vote.
Yeah, I will vote for it. It is a resolution. I believe that the underlying principles behind it are sound and important.
What is the solution for voters who have jobs and interests in the fossil fuel industry?
Giving the workers an ability to transition into the jobs of the future.
Can we afford it?
Of course we can afford it. It's not about a cost.
So when she does that, that's the end of Pennsylvania as we know it. It's the most important, not only from the standpoint of $500,000 jobs, it's 500,000 jobs, but in terms of income for the state, you would have to double and triple your taxes to make up. And she's going to do it. She's going to do it. She's going to do it. And you know the other thing, the taxes, you know what an unrealized capital gain is? Okay, it's called, I'll tell you what it is, communism is what. So she wants to have a tax, so capital gains tax is terrible, it's rough, but you know, you sell something, you can pay the tax. She wants an unrealized capital gain every year so that if something goes up in value, now you have to go out, it'll be a great business for appraisers and for lawyers and for accountants. Other than that, it's a disaster. She wants an unrealized, and she refuses to say that, no, we're not going to do that. No, she refuses. Think of it. It's an unrealized gain. So she wants to tax an unrealized gain. This woman is crazy. I will terminate the Green New scam immediately. It's the greatest scam in history. I will stop the energy price hikes. I will rescind the natural gas export ban, which is killing your state, by the way. And we will have energy independence. You know, we were energy independent 4 years ago. Think of it. Energy independent. We're still going to be energy dominant. And I will cut your energy and electricity prices in half within 12 months of taking office. 50%. We have it. It's under our feet. We don't have to get it from Venezuela. We get it from Venezuela. It's not even believable. The whole thing's not believable. For most of American history, Pennsylvania was the commercial and industrial powerhouse of the United States. But year after year, globalist, radical left politicians and incompetents like Kamala Harris have waged a war on your Commonwealth. annihilated your steel mills, decimated your coal jobs, assaulted your oil and gas jobs, and sold off your manufacturing jobs to China and foreign nations all over the world. Under the Trump administration, we are going to take back what is ours. We will end the looting and pillaging of Pennsylvania and many other states all over our country. We will bring back our manufacturing jobs, our energy jobs, our coal jobs, our steel jobs, and our dreams. And it's all very simple. Starting in January, we will give our companies the lowest taxes, the lowest energy costs, the lowest regulatory burdens, and free access to the best and biggest market anywhere on the planet, but only if they make their products right here in America. If they don't, they have to pay a higher tax. And only if they hire American workers for the job, and they will. They'll all be coming. They'll be pouring in. If these companies don't make their product here, then they will pay a tariff when they send their products into the United States for the privilege of competing with our workers and our cherished companies. We're going to protect our workers and our companies. It's all very simple. We don't do any of this now. I was going to do it, and then COVID came, and I said, we got to fight that one. We did a great job with that. We got a great, I got great credit for the economy, for the military. We were in no wars. Think of it. I started no wars. Everybody thought I'd be like in a war. I'll be in a war in 2 days. No, it didn't work out. My personality stopped wars. Stopped wars. It stopped wars in countries that we weren't even involved. I was able to stop wars with other countries that we weren't even that involved with just by making a couple of phone calls. I saved a lot of lives. We will call this policy the Build It in America plan, because when foreign leaders and CEOs call me up to complain about our tariffs, my answer will be very simple to them. Build it in America, build it in Pennsylvania. We're going to build a lot. We're going to have all those hulks that you have all over the place, the big empty hulks that we have all over our country. They're going to be loaded up with companies. They'll probably be, honestly, they'll be ripped down, and you'll see modern buildings built, modern manufacturing built. The centerpiece of this plan will be a 15% made in America corporate tax rate, cutting the tax from 21% to 15%, but again, only for those who make their product in the USA. And remember, I got it down to 21. Everyone said it would be impossible to get approved by Congress. I got it approved by Congress, but I got it down to 21. It was close to 40%. I got it down to 21%. Nobody thought that was possible. Now, I'm taking it from 21% down to 15%. The companies are going to roar in because 21% is very competitive. 15% is really, it's amazing. I mean, companies are going to want to be here, but they have to be protected from other companies coming in from the outside and raiding the jobs, the products, and that's what we're doing with the tariffs. And for those companies who don't make their product in America, they will be forced to pay a very stiff tariff, and we will make it and take it. Hundreds of billions of dollars are going to come in through tariff dollars to benefit American citizens, and we're going to pay off debt and reduce your taxes still further. Again, I gave you the biggest tax cut in history. We'll be able to do it still further. And remember this, for decades, nobody paid, China never paid 1 penny, not 1 penny to us until I came along. They paid hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs and taxes under me, under Bush, under Obama. They never paid. They never paid anything, nothing, not a dime. Hundreds of billions of dollars they paid. And that's just the beginning. We're a rich country, but we don't know how to be rich. We just don't know how to be, but we're going to be rich, and we're going to be richer than ever before. We're going to take care of ourselves. It's going to be America first. It's also going to be, we'll help the world. We want to help the world. But it's time that we take care of ourselves. We owe $36 trillion. We're going to take care of ourselves first. And I will never apologize for defending America. I will protect our workers, I will protect our jobs. I will protect our borders. I will protect our families. And I will protect the birthright of our children to live in the richest and most powerful nation on the face of the earth. And I will also protect our steel industry. If you guys remember, we were going to lose our steel. We had the worst policy on steel. China was coming in and others dumping steel onto our shores. And we would have had no steel industry left. And I put a big tariff on all steel coming in. It was not good steel either. It was what we call dirty steel. It's bad steel, bad structurally, very dangerous actually. But they were dumping steel into our country, destroying our steel mills. And I put a big tariff, and it all stopped when I did that. It all stopped. And we took in hundreds of billions of dollars, and it all stopped. And, you know, we slashed foreign steel all these exports that were pouring in, they stopped to the level of about 25%. Nobody could believe it. And I hadn't even started yet. We were just getting ready. We were going to make this country richer than it had ever been before. You know, in the 1890s and 1880s, our country was actually the richest it ever was. They had to form committees to determine how are we going to spend this vast wealth. We had so much wealth, relatively speaking, so much wealth, more than anybody by far. And they formed up blue ribbon committees. How are we going to spend the money? We don't know how to spend it. Wouldn't that be a nice problem to have? And it was all a tariff country. We were a tariff country. And McKinley was president. William McKinley was actually a great president, was assassinated, by the way. He was assassinated. You know, being president is a very dangerous profession. If you're an auto racer, you know how many people die? About 1/10%. If you're a bull rider, that's dangerous. That's more dangerous than playing in the NFL, right, fellas? What do you think? I think it's a little more, I don't know, it's pretty dangerous. We got a couple of big deals over here and there. But I think that bull riding stuff, that looks bad. 1/10%, about the same as the auto racing. If you're president, take a look. It's about 5%, 6%. That's a lot better. But it's only good if you want to do one thing. You want to make your country strong and wonderful and great, and that's what I'm doing. But it is a dangerous profession, and we can't let it be a dangerous profession. We have to have better everything. We have to have better respect from countries that look at us, because we have to let them know. I'm still waiting for Biden to say, if you do anything to this guy that I hate Trump, but if you do anything to him, we're going to blow your country to pieces, and then you wouldn't need all this glass up here. You wouldn't need all that glass. And other presidents have said that. And even if it's your opponent, and even if it's somebody that helped them force you out of an election, which I didn't want to do, but you got to do that regardless, opponent or no opponent. You got to let a country know that you're going to play around, we're going to blow you to pieces, and then everything will stop. It'll be amazing. But today I'm honored to receive the endorsement of 3 union locals representing US Steel, Mon Valley. And if they want, I'd like to call them up to the stage, including union leaders Brian Pavlak and Richard TK and Jason Zugais. Would you come on up here, fellas? These are good-looking people. Good-looking guy, yeah.
How about executive order?
Oh, yeah.
No more.
You guys can say something. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's great. You agree with what I said?
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. Good-looking guys, huh?
It's an honor.
You like the Arnold Palmer story all about?
I love it.
Isn't it true?
Yeah.
Thank you.
President Trump, pleasure to meet you. Glenn Thomas, I work down in Bradley.
Yes, you did. That's why we're here, buddy. Hey, we got back up.
Would somebody like to say something?
Yeah.
Please, go ahead.
Brian started our movement, President Trump.
Good.
It's an honor to be on stage with you. All the steelworkers here, honor to be on stage with you. I was up to Butler Rally when they started to assassinate you. And I knew after that I had to do what I had to do. So the president that saved the steel industry with tariffs, you saved it with tariffs.
Thank you.
And you're my hero, and you're the greatest president ever.
We love you.
We love you. So, Steelworkers for Trump and the rank and file Mon Valley Works want to endorse you. We want to give you a hard hat. And also another hat too. Well, thank you, President Trump.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
It's such an honor.
It's my honor. Thank you very much. Don't make a lot of
We want that no,
We're gonna get you a lot of
overtime.
Yeah, yeah.
We want that no.
Yeah. No tax on overtime.
That's a good one.
Yeah. You know the steelworkers work a lot of overtime.
You never even heard about that, right?
No,
tax.
no.
No child support on overtime.
That's another one.
You take care of good.
I want you to put the hard hat on.
No child support on overtime.
Could we get a picture with you?
Yeah, let's go. Come on. Let's do it real fast, fellas.
I want you to put the hard hat on.
Put the hard hat on. Over the front.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Beautiful.
Thank you, fellas. Let's take a picture. Come on. We'll go fast. Let's go. Got it? They've got it outside. Okay, he's got it right there. Let's go. We got to get back. Thank you, fellas.
Thank you.
Good job. Good
Maybe I'll see you backstage.
Good.
That's so awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, fellas.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a lot of strength up here. A lot of great people, actually. I'm also thank you very much. Have a good time, fellas. Thank you.
President Trump.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. They said you did stay. We really did. We saved the steel industry in this country. Now we're going to make it really powerful again, along with autos. Great guys, great people. Those are great people. I'm also, and that have been beaten up for a lot of years unfairly because we had stupid politicians or corrupt politicians. I'm not sure which. I'm also honored to have the overwhelming endorsement of the rank and file membership of the Teamsters. That never happened before. Never happened before. Never happened before. And also we have something else, the law enforcement. Virtually every group in the United States from law enforcement, every single group, the sheriffs, the police, the fraternal order, 400,000 police, they all endorse me. So thank you very much. Thank you. I don't think she has one. She's a disaster. She wanted to defund. She was involved in defund the police. I think when you defund the police, that's the end of that. With 4 more years of Kamala Harris, Pennsylvania will be an economic wasteland. That's going to happen. And I'll tell you, with me, you're going to make more money than they've ever made before. You're going to have the best salaries, the lowest taxes. You're going to be doing better than you ever did. And we're going to put this into motion fast. You can do it very fast. It's very simple, too. Kamala's inflation has already cost a typical family over $30,000 in higher prices, and now she wants to raise typical family taxes by nearly $3,000 a year. Just take a look at this video, please.
Kamala Harris is going to significantly raise taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up.
Kamala's plan will raise families' taxes by nearly $2,600 a year. Under Kamala, prices have already soared. Now she'd make it worse with even higher taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up.
President Trump will cut taxes again. No taxes on tips, overtime, or Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
You know, they said to me up here, we like the overtime the best. I said, yeah, you probably. You like the overtime, right, fellas? That's it. I figured you had something. That's right. You're not worried about the tips. You like that overtime, right? But a lot of people like the tips. And if you're a senior, you know what you like. You want the Social Security, no tax on Social Security. Think of it. No tax. No tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors. And they deserve it because you know what? Inflation with their fixed income, mostly fixed income, inflation has absolutely destroyed our seniors and other people that are on fixed income. So I will also make interest on car loans fully tax deductible. That's a big deal. You know, they said one of the top guys on Wall Street called up and he said, you know, we have an incredible situation here. Where did you come up with that? It's like the paperclip. I said it the other day. Like 125 years ago, some guy took some steel and he bent it around a little bit. He came up with a paperclip, and other people looked at it. He made a lot of money, very rich man. And they said, why the hell didn't we think of it? You know, the one having to do with the deductibility of car loans. So simple. And the top guys on Wall Street, real geniuses, they called up, they said, how did you think of that? It's so simple. But, you know, to have the American dream, you want to have a car. And this will make, and I think this is going to be fantastic for Detroit and South Carolina and Tennessee and all of the areas that that produce cars. One thing I have to say also, we have in Mexico, and I've been talking about it for the last year and a half, China is getting ready to build massive car plants, massive, which would wipe out Michigan, would hurt you, but would wipe out Michigan. Detroit would be gone. And they're the biggest plants in the world. I have a friend that does that. He builds plants. He doesn't do anything else. All he wants to do is build plants. And I called him up a year ago, a little more than that. I said, I want to see a plant. I want to go see a plant. You think Biden calls people up and says, I'd like to see a plant? I don't think so. He wants to just go. He wants to go to sleep. And she wants to do other things. We don't know what they are. We'll find out, unfortunately. No, but I said, I want to see a plant. He said, well, I can't really take you to the U.S. because we're not building the good ones. But the big ones are being built in Mexico. I said, what do you mean Mexico? They're being built by China. And they're the biggest in the world, actually. And one plant will be doing more than all of Michigan. So I said, this is not good. And then they think they're going to take the cars, build them, and sell them over to the United States or go around a little horn and sell them to the United States and destroy our automobile. And it would destroy. So I said, I've had it. And I started talking about tariffs. We're going to put massive tariffs on these companies that are coming in and destroying our jobs and our companies. And so I went very public with it for the last 4 months about tariffs. I love tariffs. I love tariffs, what they can do for your income and protection. And even third-party things you can do just by the threat of tariffs, because we're the pot of gold. We won't be the pot of gold long if we don't do something. So I was making a speech the other day in Detroit at the Economic Club, which is a great place, beautiful, and talking about cars. And I saw the man that is the great car factory builder who I know, John. I won't give it his full name, but John. And I saw him. And I said, could I see you after the speech? I made the speech. I went to see him. I said, how are those plants coming, the big ones in China? They said, sir, they just canceled them because they think you're going to get elected, and they don't want to build them because they won't be able to pay tariffs. We just canceled them. I didn't even do anything. And I just saved Detroit. I just saved every car-making state. No, but think of it. And I thought to myself, just the threat of tariffs, they canceled these multi-billion-dollar auto factories. Auto machines is what they really are. Now, will I get credit for that? I don't think so, but we know. But he just said, because of you, they think you're going to get elected. They think you're going to charge tariffs that are so much that it won't be possible for them to survive. And China just canceled those big, beautiful factories that would have destroyed our country in terms of automaking. And, you know, I think it's great. And now people are starting to see it. They're saying that was a pretty good thing to do. I didn't even do anything. Just a mere threat of that beautiful word kept what we have. Don't forget, a lot of it's been taken over 50, 60 years. We were the greatest powerhouse. We will have that back soon. I think we can compete with it. We will have that back soon. We're going to have so many auto plants and so many steel plants built in this country now.